Okay, let's unpack this. If you spend any time wading through the blockchain space, you know it can feel like shouting into a crowded room.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so much noise, so much hype, and frankly, it's really hard to find the actual signals of, what's being built and what really matters.
It really is. It's easy to get lost in a sea of white papers and, well, grand pronouncements.
hmm
What you really need is a way to cut through all that noise and see concrete action, actual progress.
Exactly, and that's why we're doing this deep dive today. We're looking at a specific source, an article you shared with us, actually, a blockrora.com Rora signal piece.
Mm.
It gives us a detailed look at Klever Blockchain's 2025 roadmap. Think of this as our mission. Pull out the absolute most important insights from that roadmap, because the article itself, it frames it not just as a list of features,
Right.
but as a, quote, signal that Klever is ready to play a bigger, bolder game in this whole multi-chain future thing. It's basically Blockrora telling devs and observers, hey, this is worth your attention, lean in.
It's interesting how they set that tone right away, isn't it? Positioning it as more than just, like, a technical update. It's a statement of intent. Moving from just talking about being multi-chain to actually, building the infrastructure for it.
Right. The article is called Klever Blockchain's 2025 Roadmap, Open Source Moves, KVM Power, and Bridges That Actually Work. That's from blockrora.com. So let's jump straight into the big picture they lay out for this year. What's coming down the pipe?
Well, the roadmap's presented quite clearly. It's broken down by quarters, highlighting these key infrastructure rollouts.
Okay, starting with Q2. The article points to a really significant milestone, the Ethereum bridge hitting testnet.
Yeah, and this is a critical step because it moves cross-chain capabilities from just, a theoretical concept to something tangible you can actually, well, interact with.
Interact with, right.
Putting the Ethereum bridge on testnet means developers, users, they can start testing the movement of assets, maybe data, maybe even calls between Klever and Ethereum.
And for you listening, that matters because it unlocks entirely new possibilities, right? Thinking about liquidity, yield, utility for your DeFi and NFT stuff across both ecosystems.
Exactly. It's not just about one chain anymore. It's connecting them.
Then the article says things really heat up in Q3. Major mainnet upgrade for Klever.
That's when the pace picks up.
And the headline feature dropping in Q3 is the Klever Virtual Machine, or KVM. The source calls it a new, robust environment for smart contracts. We'll definitely need to dig into what that KVM really means in a bit, but it seems central to this Q3 push.
Oh, absolutely. The KVM is foundational. Also coming in Q3 is support for semi-fungible tokens, SFTs.
SFTs, okay. What are those exactly?
Well, the article explains them as a sort of hybrid asset class, blending characteristics of both standard fungible tokens and unique NFTs.
Ah, interesting. Like what?
Think fractional ownership of assets, maybe more dynamic ticketing systems or flexible loyalty program points, things like that.
That flexibility sounds really useful for builders. And okay, that Ethereum bridge from Q2 testnet. The article says it goes live on mainnet in Q3 too.
That's right. Fully operational on-chain, allowing assets to, as they put it, flow freely between Klever and Ethereum. This is where that real cross-chain interoperability starts to actually happen.
And for anyone worried about security, which should be everyone, really, the article makes a point of mentioning a CertiK audit. That's kind of the gold standard, right?
Absolutely. That CertiK audit is crucial for building trust, especially when you're rolling out core stuff like the KVM and bridges.
Yeah.
The source implicitly presents a successful audit as a kind of green light for developers and users who might be, cautious about security or reliability. It signals maturity. Seriousness.
The article also notes Q3 brings an academy and a smart contract library. That feels like a direct effort to welcome and, well, support developers, doesn't it? Suggests you won't be left totally on your own.
Oh, that's a smart move. Providing resources like documentation, tutorials, maybe pre-built contract templates, it significantly lowers the barrier for entry, encourages people to experiment on the chain.
Makes sense. And the bridging doesn't stop with Ethereum, apparently. The article details more. A Tron bridge, also in Q3, then a Solana bridge in Q4.
Yeah, this expansion to Tron and Solana is a pretty clear signal that Klever aims to connect beyond just the Ethereum world.
Right.
By building bridges to multiple big chains, they make it way easier for developers to build dApps that can leverage assets, users, functionality from, different environments. Klever is explicitly positioning itself as a key connector in what's still a pretty fragmented multi-chain landscape.
Which brings us neatly to Q4. And here, the article highlights what it calls a major philosophical shift. Klever plans to open source its entire blockchain codebase.
Wow, okay. Open sourcing the core protocol, that's a powerful statement
Yeah.
about decentralization transparency. The article frames it as trust being baked into every commit because the code is public, auditable. The expectation, reading between the lines, is that this move fosters more community contributions, speeds up innovation, and deepens developer trust. It's definitely walking the walk on decentralization.
Okay, let's circle back. That KVM launching in Q3, the article makes a big deal out of it. Not just another smart contract sandbox, but a long-awaited leap. So what does this source tell us about why the KVM is such a big deal?
Right, the Klever Virtual Machine, KVM. It's described as a fully featured EVM-compatible environment. Now, for anyone not familiar, EVM compatibility means it's designed to work with the tools and code written for the Ethereum virtual machine.
Which is the standard pretty much everywhere else.
Exactly. It's the standard on Ethereum and lots of other chains. So the goal here is to let developers write, deploy, and execute smart contracts reliably and at scale on Klever itself.
Okay, so EVM compatible. What does that actually mean for different types of builders, according to the article, I mean?
Well, for projects already building on Klever, the article says KVM gives them access to a real contract layer. See, before, deploying complex logic might have relied more on external validators, maybe off-chain processes.
Right, kind of workarounds sometimes?
Kind of. Now, they get native, on-chain, smart contract execution. The source suggests this leads to smoother integrations, better on-chain logic execution, and more possibilities for customization.
That sounds like it removes some, maybe, prior limitations for the existing folks. Okay, what about developers who aren't on Klever yet? Maybe they're building on Ethereum or other EVM chains.
This is where that EVM compatibility is really key. The article highlights that new projects can basically bring over your Solidity contracts. That's the main language for Ethereum smart contracts.
Yeah, the big one.
Or they can tap into the EVM developer ecosystem they already know. But, and this is the kicker, they get to do this while leveraging Klever's own infrastructure, which the source notes offers lower fees, faster confirmations, and a growing network of users. It's presented almost as like Ethereum dev convenience meets layer 1 scalability.
Okay, that is a pretty compelling pitch, marrying the familiar with better performance. And what about those thinking bigger, like multi-chain applications?
Well, with the KVM providing robust smart contract capabilities on Klever itself, and then these bridges to Ethereum, TRON, Solana coming online.
Yeah.
The article positions Klever as a highly attractive hub for multi-chain builders. You could deploy your core logic on the KVM and have it interact with assets and users on these connected chains via the bridges.
Okay, I see.
And as the source adds, with that move to open source in Q4, dev teams get the extra confidence of being able to audit the stack themselves or even contribute to its future, which is pretty vital for complex multi-chain systems.
This is where the signal really starts to cut through the noise, like you said earlier. The article is upfront that, yeah, it's easy to just ignore blockchain roadmaps because so many are more sizzle than substance.
Happens all the time.
But it argues this Klever roadmap is different. What makes this one stand out, according to Blockworra?
Well, the article really stresses that Klever isn't just using buzzwords like multi-chain. They are, quote, delivering actual bridges and integration timelines. They're building the physical links, basically.
Right. Tangible infrastructure beats abstract concepts. What else?
The KVM, particularly when you pair it with that Academy and smart contract library they mentioned for Q3. That whole package is seen as a significant dev magnet. It provides the essential environment and the resources needed for serious development.
Makes sense. And the open source move in Q4?
That's highlighted as walking the decentralization talk. It's a fundamental operational choice, not just like a marketing point. And the article suggests it builds deeper, real trust.
The article also gave us a quick snapshot of market context, noting that as of May 29th, KLV was holding steady, around 0.002 cents.
Yeah, and the source's interpretation of that price stability is quite telling, I think, instead of focusing on, volatility or short-term pumps.
Which the market loves to do.
Right. It frames this steady price during a period of really significant core infrastructure rollout as a kind of quiet flex.
A quiet flex. I like that.
Yeah. And the market often fixated on immediate gains. Just maintaining stability while you execute on a long-term technical vision suggests, well, confidence. A focus that the article implies is valued by those looking beyond just speculation.
So pulling all these pieces together from this blockroar.com Roar Signal article, the core signal seems to be that Klever isn't trying to be the loudest voice in the room, but maybe the most reliable? Is that
I
fair?
think that captures it well. That reliability built on the KVM, the expanding network of working bridges, and that commitment to open source. It's presented as being crucial for anyone serious about building in this evolving space.
Whether you're a serious builder, forward-thinking founder, or even curious community dev like you listening might be.
Exactly. Those are the people this roadmap seems aimed at.
And the article's perspective is that by putting these pieces in place through 2025, Clever is setting the stage not just for faster transactions, but for a smarter, more collaborative future.
It definitely leaves you with something significant to chew on if you're involved in or even is watching this space.
It really does.
Yeah.
The article ends with a very direct question, not just to its readers, but really to anyone taking this information in, and that includes you listening right now.
Mhm.
Based on everything we've just explored from the source material, the question is this. Now the question is, will you be building on it? A potent thought as you process this deep dive.